Spring is here, and the deals are hotter than ever at Shack Shop. Turn heads with stunning bikinis, now on sale. Explore the deep with cutting-edge underwater drones. Gear up for adventure with durable tents for every trip. Ride into spring with unbeatable deals on bikes. Fresh styles, women's fashion, and must-have looks, all discounted. Don't miss the Shack Shop Spring Fling Sale. These prices won't last. Shop now and make this spring unforgettable, only at Shack Shop.
In a dramatic and high-stakes briefing from the White House, Donald Trump praised what he described as one of the most complex and successful military rescue operations in recent memory, following the recovery of 2 U.S. Air Force personnel who were stranded deep inside Iranian territory. Speaking with a tone that blended pride, intensity, and warning, Trump detailed the extraordinary efforts undertaken by American forces to retrieve the downed service members. Standing alongside senior defense officials, he painted a vivid picture of a mission defined by precision, overwhelming force, and unwavering commitment to bringing American troops home. This was a breathtaking demonstration of American military excellence, Trump said. Our forces entered hostile territory, engaged threats with precision, secured our people, and exited without losing a single life. A mission under extreme conditions. The rescue unfolded over the course of a tense weekend that coincided with the Easter holiday, adding an emotional and symbolic layer to the operation. According to officials, the aircraft, a U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, went down on Friday, leaving both the pilot and the Weapons Systems Officer, WSO, stranded in enemy territory. The pilot was recovered relatively quickly. Special Operations Forces located and extracted him within hours of the crash on Friday, executing a rapid response mission that relied on speed and surprise. However, the situation for the second crew member, the WSO, was far more perilous. Stranded alone behind enemy lines for nearly 48 hours, the WSO faced a grueling fight for survival. Trump detailed the airman's ordeal in vivid terms, navigating harsh terrain, sustaining injuries, and relying on both training and sheer determination to stay alive. He climbed steep terrain while injured, treated himself, and maintained communication with our forces, Trump explained. It was an incredible act of courage and resilience. Survival against the odds. According to military officials, the WSO's ability to activate a signaling device, described as a type of locator beacon, proved critical. The device allowed U.S. forces to narrow down his location in an otherwise vast and hostile environment. Trump compared the search effort to finding a needle in a haystack, emphasizing the difficulty of locating a single individual in rugged terrain while under the threat of enemy detection. Throughout his time on the ground, the WSO reported maintained intermittent communication with U.S. command. One of his first transmissions carried a message that resonated deeply with those monitoring the situation: God is good. That phrase, later repeated during the briefing, became a symbolic anchor for the mission, especially given its timing between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Trump himself leaned into that symbolism, remarking, "We were in Easter territory. I believe something was watching over this operation." Massive military mobilization. The scale of the rescue effort was staggering. According to details shared during the briefing, the operation involved approximately 155 aircraft. These included 64 fighter jets providing air superiority and strike capabilities, 48 aerial refueling tankers enabling extended mission duration, 13 specialized rescue aircraft, additional surveillance and support assets. Military leadership acknowledged that the number of assets deployed exceeded what was strictly necessary, a deliberate choice aimed at ensuring total dominance over the operational environment. "We brought overwhelming force," one official noted. "There was no room for failure." Trump echoed that sentiment in more blunt terms, stating that enemy equipment encountered during the mission was completely destroyed. "We didn't leave anything behind," he said. "Every threat was eliminated." The final extraction. The rescue of the WSO came early Sunday morning, just hours after sunrise. Special operations teams reportedly pushed into contested territory, engaging hostile forces as they moved toward the airman's location. Despite the risks, the extraction was successful. Military leadership highlighted the coordination required to execute the mission, combining intelligence, air power, and ground forces in a tightly synchronized operation. General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, emphasized the professionalism and readiness of the troops involved. "This is what our military trains for," he said. "When Americans are in danger, we respond with unmatched capability." Secrecy and tension. While Trump provided broad details about the mission, he declined to specify the exact number of personnel involved, though he suggested it was in the hundreds. "There were a lot of people involved, many more than you'd think," he said, before adding that certain operational details would remain classified. The president also expressed frustration over what he described as a media leak that revealed early information about the crash and the survival of one of the crew members. He argued that such reporting could have endangered the mission by alerting hostile forces. "That kind of leak is dangerous," Trump said. "We're going to find out who did it." Escalating rhetoric toward Iran. Beyond the rescue itself, Trump used the briefing to deliver a stark warning to Iran.
In one of the most striking moments of the conference, he suggested that the United States possesses the capability to inflict devastating consequences on the country in a very short time frame. The entire nation could be taken out in one night, he said, and that night could come very soon. The statement underscored the broader tension surrounding the situation, leaving observers uncertain about whether the conflict was nearing resolution or on the brink of further escalation. When pressed on that question, Trump offered an ambiguous response. It depends on what they do next. A message of strength and uncertainty. The successful rescue of the two airmen stands as a powerful example of the U.S. military's reach and capability. At the same time, it highlights the volatility of the situation and the high stakes involved. For many, the mission reinforces a long-standing military principle: no service member is left behind. But as the dust settles from this operation, larger questions remain about what comes next, and whether the events of this weekend mark a turning point or simply another chapter in a rapidly evolving conflict.